Yes, we are live, okay? Na?
Okay, Tanvir. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the live coverage of Youth Forum. My name is Akhil Rashid. I will introduce the session and the speakers. We at Jkpi believe in facilitating multi-stakeholders dialogues to bring in diverse perspectives and encourage constructive disagreements, critical perspectives, and new cutting-edge creative problem-solving approach on socio-economic and political issues confronting J&K and the larger Southeast Asian region. With the focus on recognizing and bringing to light the positive role that youth play in society on different fronts, we bring to you Youth Forum. The initiative aims to provide a platform to youth voices to raise their concerns on various issues that concern them directly. It's proven that youth create a demographic dividend for any country with their positive energy, problem-solving skills, and innovative approach. They are tech savvy, driven to bring social change and leading interventions to make lives better. However, they remain far away from the policy making spectrum and decision making processes, leading to irrelevant policies, unmet needs, and assumptions based policies with no substantial change. It's time to give the deserved space to you to decide about their present and their future. We have successfully concluded two regional youth forums on youth in Afghanistan, peace process, voice of diversity and inclusion, with 3 youth experts from the region. And another youth forum we had held on gender-based violence, the way forward, with 6 youth experts from the South Asia. So in the first session of the Youth Forum tonight, we are joined by young leaders from India who have taken initiatives to bring to the forefront young perspectives both at the academic and the practitioners level. While highlighting the positive role of youth, the discussion on young leaders in public policy will revolve around their experiences to understand the prospects of career development and meaningful youth participation in policy making. Our first speaker for tonight is Afaq Hussain, who is the Director, Bureau of Research on Industry and Economic Fundamentals. Afaq Hussain has over 17 years of experience of working on international trade policy and logistics sector. He has been part of the various trade facilitation studies on pertinent areas such as tariff, non-tariff measures, barriers, trading across products, value chain analysis, and appraisal of infrastructure and policy reforms at sea, land, and airports in India. He has contributed to India's trade infrastructure through on-ground research to enhance India's trade ecosystem. He has led multiple studies focusing on trade facilitation and ease of doing business for various government and international institutions. At brief, AFAC leads the policy research team, which focuses on trade facilitation and regional cooperation, which includes work on India-Pakistan trade, as well as cross-line line of control trade between both sides of Jammu and Kashmir. Another speaker for tonight is Yash Agarwal. He is the founder Public Policy India. Yash Agarwal is a public policy professional currently engaged as a Twitter's first ever public policy fellow from India, technically designated as a public policy coordinator. He is currently also running and leading Public Policy India, a knowledge platform dedicated to the cause of public policy, and that he started a year or so back. Earlier, he worked as a public policy associate at Chase India, a consultancy with his work centered around strategic policy guidance to clients mostly in fields such as healthcare, technology, etc. In the recent past, Mr. Yash has also been engaged as a policy and legislations advisor to Lok Sabha member of Parliament. So he has earlier he has worked as a LAMP fellow to a member of Parliament in the Lok Sabha for a year. And that's all from me. I will hand you over to Sukanya and Tanvir, who will be moderating the session. Over to you, Sukanya and Tanvir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akhil, for the introduction and the background story. Very warm welcome to all the speakers here. Since the topic is youth and public policy, we'll be asking questions regarding that, and we'll also be taking questions that will be coming across our way via comment section. So the first question is towards you, Mr. Afaq Hussain. If you could tell us a bit about your initiative.
So Sukanya, your voice is not very clear.
Okay.
Maybe you need to be a bit loud.
Is it audible now?
It is audible, but
yeah. Okay.
It's not that
I'll
loud.
try to be a little louder then.
Yeah, please,
So the
please.
question is, if you could tell us a bit about your initiative, also the problems that you're trying to address.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, JK Policy Institute, for having me here. It's always great to be connected back to the roots from where I belong to. And Jkpi has been doing some good work in Jammu and Kashmir, and I always feel great to have any conversations on Jammu and Kashmir or with any initiative related to Jammu and Kashmir, just because maybe I belong to that place. The connect is always there. So I thank everyone for having me here. I am one of the founding members of this institute, which is called Bureau of Research on Industry and Economic Fundamentals. We've completed 10 years of this institute in 2021. So we started in 2011. And it was, I wouldn't say the institute came into being to solve any problem. I had a research background, and my other founding members also, we are all from the research background, and I have been doing research since 2004. And I really enjoyed this research, and the best part of that research that I enjoyed was that I would go to the field and talk to people. I remember during my initial days in 2004, 2005, to when I started in a research organization, I would go to this Atari border or any other place, Calcutta, Chennai, Bangalore, and talk to these exporters, importers, or industry people to understand from them how public policy, which is primarily made in New Delhi, how that needs to be linked to what that person is thinking on ground. Eventually, the public policy which is decided in New Delhi or any other government department, that needs to address the needs and demands on the ground. And obviously, not all wishes, all demands can be addressed by the government, but yeah, somewhere that balancing act needs to be done. And I was quite young at that. I just started my career, and I would talk to those people and try and understand what it is. And by the time it was 2008, 2009, I had within myself decided that, okay, will have this institute, and where we will try to bridge this gap in this field, where an institute which goes to the field, talks to the people, gets back the information, analyzes it, and presents it to the government. So we had a lot of institutes which would be primarily macro level institutes, which would do analysis based on high level policy or literature. But there were institutes which would go to the field and give this information to the people who are doing those high level analysis. So there was not a comprehensive institute which would go to the field, do that analysis based on field experience, do that analysis, and present a policy paper to the government. So there was a limited institutes in that space. And that's the space we thought could be something which we would want to address. So we started initially, obviously, a new institute. Nobody, government would think, oh, who are you? I mean, you're just suddenly coming up and you're telling me you'll advise me on my policy. So it was not something which would be acceptable initially. So we associated with institutes who are already there, established institutes who were already there, where they were not pretty much on that going to the field and talking. So we provided them this support of going to the field, doing analysis, giving them the feedback, and then they would go to the government. Okay, this is the research. But with time, I think while we started, we immediately started working with the World Bank. In 2011, we set up our institute, and in 2012, we had this World Bank project, which was a big World Bank project on trade and regional cooperation. That gave us that push of credibility. And then it was about just, I think that was the push that we got. And then with more and more researches we did, and then we started working on the logistics sector in India. Brief was part of various government committees on trade and logistics. And in 2014, when this government came there in 2014, most of you would remember, government had this focus on ease of doing business at that time. And we were one of the very few institutes which would go on the field, go to these seaports, get the problems from the people and go to the ministry here. Okay, this is the problem that people face at Mumbai port. This is the problem people face at Kolkata port. So we have multiple publications we came out with at that time. And I remember presenting that personally with having a detailed discussion with then Minister of Shipping, Mr. Nitin Gadkari also. And he was really impressed with that, the way we had presented port-wise problems, which were very, very specific, micro-level problems. And that's what we felt was missing. I'm sure there were people who were doing it, but we felt that link between the situation on the ground and people in the policy making, that link was missing. We tried to bridge that gap of communication between the people on the ground, the industry on the ground, and the policymakers in the government. So that was our role, and that's what we tried to address, and we're still continuing with it. It's been a good, amazing 10 years of journey where we have been acknowledged by different government departments at the highest level. Our work has been acknowledged at multiple government forums. Our reports are acknowledged, and they're quoted by newspapers. They're used by various researchers in doing their work. So I think it's been a good 10-year journey, and at Brief we have a good team of around 20-25 researchers from multiple backgrounds who are supporting our researchers, who are basically the people who are giving us those reports. I mean, it's not me who is doing all the research all the time, but yes, it's been an amazing 10 years journey, and I think we have supported different government departments at different points over the last 10 years in shaping the public policy in India, particularly in the trade, logistics, and ease of doing business space. I think I'll stop here.
Could you tell me the difference between as and when you were working for them and now that you have your own venture? So what is the advantage of having your own venture that you could not, figure out or feel while you were working for them?
So when I started working, I think I would have been 21 or 22. So I just looked at it as a job. I never had that. I mean, I was doing a research, giving my data to my manager, and she would just make the sense of it and give it. So I never had that vision where this data is going, what is happening. But it always, as I spent 3-4 years there, I started realizing that yes, it makes sense. But then I shifted. I went to corporate. I was in corporate for another 4 years. So I didn't, and I was completely detached from this. It was a complete strategy role. I was in the corporate strategy and corporate planning at that time. And this was, but suddenly it just came to my mind then in 2010 that I think, let me just see this. Yes, the difference is that your vision is bigger and you have matured. I mean, particularly for me, it was I had matured, and I had spent, I mean, I was almost 7 years old in the industry. So my vision was better, my maturity was better, and I could envisage and plan where I want to go. And yes, being in my own venture, it definitely helps to keep your vision clear. I know what I want to do. I have certain values, I have certain principles which I would follow, and I do understand that the institute's credibility is prime. I mean, it needs to be like there is a vision for the institute that I follow, and which is based on my principles also. So you have freedom to experiment. Sometimes all your experiments don't work all the time. There are certain experiments which fail, and there is also the flip side of it is that sometimes you may take things slightly also. I mean, there's no boss looking at you, so you can take it, you can take your own time also. I wouldn't say you become lazy, but yes, sometimes you take your own time. I mean, you may take your time till the time you're fully satisfied that this is how I want it to be, this is how I want it to go. So that's the difference. And particularly for me, I would say yes, in 2011 I was a bit more mature, and I had some clarity of thoughts, which I didn't have probably at 2004, 2005.
Understandable. We have a lot of counter questions that we'll be asking, but first we'd like to ask the same question to Mr. Yash, if he could tell us a bit about his initiative and also the advantages and the problems that they are trying to address through their venture. Am I audible? Yes.
Thank you so much, Sukanya. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's very idea. Jkpi do the idea is how do we
I think your voice is coming in spurts. Is it just me? Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, please continue.
Space is on the cusp of a boom right now. The opportunities and the careers in this space is growing by, I would say, literally by the day. And so, but the other side of this is that most people in public policy, yes, right? Like there's very, very little awareness. Forget even the careers part of it, like awareness about policy as a field itself, right? It's very minimal. It's, I would say, very, very minimal at the moment in India. So the whole idea is twofold, right? How do we help with awareness about policy in general, right? Public policy as a career field, but also about opportunities in this field, right? That even under the broader policy umbrella, what are the specific work, right? What are the organizations? What are the roles? Right? How does trajectory work? And so that's the idea. And it actually fast it sounds very well. So, you'll see stuff like career tab, okay? And so, like some of the things we work on is, for example, although this is not hard work, but like the hiring for policy roles in India, right? Or maybe how do you make the perfect resume for a policy role? There's no perfect resume, but you get the point. Like, something wonderful when you're applying for policy. Similarly, if you want to do a master's in public if you want to build a career in public policy, what are the ways that we can support, right? In terms of resources, database, awareness, and so on and so forth.
I think there's some issue with Yash's audio or in the internet because we are not able to hear him clear.
I'll just join back once.
For now, Yash is not in the room. So I think we'll continue the next question with Afaq sir. So as you rightly said that taking your time to do things, very important point you mentioned, it's very necessary for everyone to succeed in life. So not being a boss and enjoying your time is quite a liberty for everyone. So also the work you are doing, bridging the gap between the government and the policy institute is really appreciable. So my question to you is, what according to you are the major challenges in front of youth to meaningfully participate in the field of public policy? And does it also impact your initiative?
I think in the things have changed over the last decade. When we started in 2011 and where we are today, things have changed and attitudes of youth have also changed. So the challenge that is there among the youth today, I think, in particular in public policy, is the patience. So public policy is not something that you will master it in a year, in a couple of years. I mean, it depends on your experience. I mean, the more you work in it, the more experience you gain in it, well equipped you become. It's all about experience. It's not something which you can gain suddenly in a year, and that's something which I find challenging at times when I interact with certain youth. You feel that they're being very impatient. So you want to have everything learned in just a few months time. Ek hi project mein sab kuch karna hai. So it doesn't work like that. I mean, it is a slow process. It takes a lot of time to understand this whole system, to understand, and each project is a huge thing in itself. Whether it is logistics, whether it is any information technology sector related, MSME sector, regional cooperation, India-Pakistan trade, or cross LOC trade. These are all different subjects, and and you need patience for this. And you keep learning every day. So the biggest challenge I think among youth is about patience. And that's also something, yes, it does sometimes have an impact on our work also. So for example, I'll give a small example. We get somebody on board with us as a policy researcher. So their expectations are that within months that I would be presenting in front of a senior officer in the government of India, which would not happen ideally in the beginning. So we as an institute have to create that balance for the youth also. It is our responsibility also as the institute to make sure that their needs, their desires and their expectations are also met. And at the same time, we also need to make them understand the process, that it's not an overnight journey. It takes time to become an expert in public policy. And there's a network that you need to develop within the public policy domain. I mean, you need to keep talking to people. I think the biggest learning that we get in all this is through talking. The more you talk, the more you interact with people, the more you learn. Your educational background is just there to give some framework to the conversations you have. I go to the field, I talk, I have hours conversation, but what I've studied in classroom will help me give some structure to that conversation. So that's how we need to look at it. And it's all about patience. And we also have been facing some challenge in that, because yes, it's a slow process. It takes time, and youth need to be patient with public policy.
Exactly. Very rightly said. Youth need to be patient. So you
You
just
need
said
to start early. You need to start early, be patient, and things will fall in place. And keep networking, keep talking to people, interact with people. That is how it works.
it's very rightly said. Networking is very important in public
Yeah.
policy.
Yeah.
Networking, and as you said, more conversations with more people. For sure, they will yield more positive results. So before we move ahead with another question, I have my colleague Akansha who wants to ask a question. Akansha, if you are there, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hi,
So I'm
Akash.
Akanksha and I study public policy in Bangalore, Mount Carmel College. And I'm in my final year. So you said that you did a lot of field work and you interacted. We have been hit by pandemic for past 2 years, and honestly, for me as well as my classmate, we are all over the place, and we are
Right.
clearly clueless about like how to go about, even when we have our sectorals, different sectors. It becomes really difficult. Any tips and point on that, and how do we approach the institutions, or how do we just make a space for ourselves when when we are talking about public policy? We're largely given the work of as of now to do articles and write our thesis and so on, but I just feel I don't have any field experience. It's really difficult for me to decipher data, uh, which is largely done by statistical people, but it has become really difficult to formulate a policy just based on the data and
Yeah.
not knowing anything about the ethos or ethics of the place or situation.
Thank you, Akansha. I think you have what you have said is exactly what we face when we have freshers with us. I'm glad that you're thinking of this in college, because yes, till the time you don't have that experience in the field, it's really difficult. I would say it is impossible to write a paper where you have confidence on. So yes, to answer your question on pandemic has hit, it hit us also. Even we were not able to do our research like this, go to talk to people. And yes, online discussions is something which we have relied on. I think we have completely relied on online discussions over the last 2 years, but we have slowly resumed having those conversations. So that is one, online conversations in one. And I think you should also, when you're writing a paper in your college or when you're writing a thesis in your college, just have somebody as your mentor from outside, who is from research. Forget about sectoral expert, who is from research, who has done some research. Just have somebody as a mentor and guide you how to go about it. That will help. You don't need any sectoral expert to draft that paper. You need discussions with sectoral experts to give you inputs for writing that the technical part. But for the framework part, if you can have some mentor from the research field who has experience in doing this, I think that will help you a lot. And that he or she can guide you how to go about it, what should be the framework, what should be the sequence of your events while you're writing a paper or your thesis. I think that's going to help you. And have this outside your college, some outsider, and that will definitely help you. I think that's one advice that I would give you. And don't submit your paper or thesis till the time you don't talk to people in the industry for your technical. Only data will not help you. Data can give you numbers. So for example, 70% of people say, I like, for example, Apple phone. Why do they like it? For that, you need to speak to them. That why is what people want. Those days are gone when we just say 70% say this, 30% say this. Don't please submit those researches. It doesn't help. We need to give answers. We need to give reasons for that 70% and 30% today. So that's the training that you need to have in your college. It will definitely help you when you move forward in your career, when you pursue your career in public policy. It will definitely give you a startup. I hope I have been able to answer your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, sir, my next question to you is very important question, and I want you to speak more on this point, because a lot of people who start in this public policy field, they just give up after a brief time. So this question to you is, what support do you feel should be offered to initiatives like yours, and who all are the key stakeholders for the same?
See, I mean, so these are two, I would treat this as two questions. One is a lot of people leave.
Yes.
Immediately within some time. As I said earlier also, the patience. Once you get into, so public policy sounds very, very glamorous, but when you get into it, it's a slow process. You need to be patient. So that's when, so that is one reason where youth feel, no, yaar, bas ho gaya. I mean, I can't take it. I better switch to corporate, where you get more money also. I mean, that's also another very important aspect here. So corporates offer you more money. Private consulting organizations like global organizations, MNCs, they will offer you more money. So you tend to move away from this. So these are two key reasons when people move away from this, or they, as I said, it's a long process and people don't want to invest their time in it. And when you move out of college, you realize, oh, my friends are making double my money and I'm still making 40,000 and my friend is making 80,000 in corporate. Why am I here? Why don't I also move? So that's also one reason people tend to move away. So that's one part of it, where people who get into it, they move away. The other part of it, as an organization, as public policy organization, as new organizations, what is the support we need? Definitely there needs to be some, I mean, we need to be given chance. Okay, so I'll put it like that. If tomorrow I'm a 10-year-old institute and I go to a government department for some work, to support them for some work, it's not possible for them to give me work directly. There is a tender process. I'm being very practical. And there's a tender process, and when there is a tender process, it's open to all. I will be there, and there are going to be competitors who are any competitor can come. I mean, there are international organizations who are working here, the consulting organizations. So everyone has started their public policy, like whether it is KPMGs or Ernst & Youngs or McKinsey's, they all have their public policy teams also. So for me as a startup, it's very difficult to compete with them. It gets difficult for me to compete with them in terms of the credentials, the technical credentials, when you say number of people they have, the turnover they have, the number of offices they have. So it gets difficult for an organization like Brief to compete with them. yet we have to survive, and I cannot tell government to relax these norms for me, but I think we need to have certain policy where these new institutes, or as we say, we are saying make in India. We have been saying make in India. And if you are an Indian organization working in this, maybe some concessions could be made part of it. I'll tell you one thing. Sometimes when we are applying for these tenders, even the what do you call that? EMD, as they call, you have to submit it with the tender. We are not able to do furnish those, or those that huge. So these are our practical on-ground challenges that we face. But yet, I think the kind of work that we have done, at least we have reached a level where government is willing to listen to us. Government is willing to give work to us. And obviously they have to follow their rules. But they say that, yeah, we want you have been doing good work. We want you to do this, but there is a process that we follow. But that's one part of it. How we have addressed that is because we work with a lot of international organizations, also a lot of international institutions, where these things are not, these protocols of tender and all those things are not there. So we have been able to get some resources from these international institutions and do work in India for supporting Indian policy. So that's how we have tried to overcome it. And the other problem, the other challenge that we face is resources. Like the question that was asked by, I think Akansha asked a question. And I'm glad that students in college have started thinking like that, because when we try to look out for resources, it's really difficult. It takes us 1 year or 1.5 years to train that person to do work the way we want them to do work the way it is done in public policy. It's really difficult. So I think we need to start at that college level, understand how things are done. I mean, as I suggested, Akansha, to have somebody as a mentor from the industry, from the research industry, so that you know how things are done. You don't have to learn it when you go to the college. So resources, getting good manpower resources is also a challenge that we face today, because of this lack of training in the college ecosystem, in the student ecosystem that we have been facing. So that's another thing that has. And then when we train them for a year or a couple of years, then they realize, oh, I can't wait. I need to be famous in a day or two, or I need to get paid a lot of money. So that's where, again, the whole process starts again. The person shifts from public policy to any other things, and then we start the process again, looking for resource. So this resource management has been a challenge for us, particularly for a new institute. I mean, if there is a famous organization, for them to attract talent is not difficult, but for an institute which is new like ours, it gets difficult to attract talent. So that's sometimes a challenge. But then those who work with us, I mean, I can be proud about it. Those people who have worked with us have stayed with us for a long time. Obviously, nobody stays in an organization forever, but I can say this, that they have stayed with us for long. Because in smaller organizations, you get exposure also. So there are pluses, there are minuses also.
Yeah, very rightly said. Again, you talked of, it's again patience. So in public policy, I think it's all patience you need. So like you said, minus and plus. We have one question. It's Jigyasa asking, impact of COVID-19 on your venture, both good and bad sides.
I would. It was tough, I must tell you. COVID-19 was tough, and I remember March 2020, we were starting a project in Tamil Nadu and in other states also, which was again a field-based research. It was put on hold, and it's been now, we're almost training of the team was done, everything was done, but suddenly COVID came and the project was shelved. And it's been 2 years, the project is still shelved. And similarly, there were a lot of projects which involved a lot of field thing. They got shelved, where it was completely dependent on field visits. So those projects, yes, so it did have an impact in terms of work. As a positive impact, we developed alternatives. of conducting these online discussions, online things, and we saved resources on that. We save resources in that. And also, I think I still feel that there is nothing that can replace face-to-face interaction. I still feel that there's nothing that can, but given the circumstances, it has filled in the gap. And a lot of times this can serve the purpose. It saves time, it saves financial resources, and I think it also helps us to involve more people in the discussions. For example, if I have to visit Bombay, have meeting there, maybe one person from my team will go, but if that meeting is happening virtually, more people join in. So it helps. So these are some of the positives, but yes, overall, yeah, it has had an impact on some of the projects which should have happened, but they didn't happen. And there were various budget cuts by different departments in the government also. So overall financial impact has been there. But yes, I think hopefully this is the year where we are out of COVID pandemic now.
Yeah, hopefully this will be the year. So Jigyasa is there. She wants to ask one more question. Jigyasa, if you're there, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tanvir, and I hope I'm audible. Um, Thank you so much, Afaksa, for your insightful sharing of your experience so far. And given the fact that Jkpi also started during the COVID itself, so that's why I guess I was really willing to ask this question, like what were the challenges that you faced and how it turned out to be a good thing as well. I have one more question, sir. So during the COVID-19, we saw many new ventures coming up, and we also saw that many students are shifting from one field of study to another one. And given the fact that public policy is in itself is a very interdisciplinary subject, so do you also see, or have you ever witnessed students from different backgrounds joining public policy or any sort of trend in this regard? Yeah, thank you, sir.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there is a lot of, I mean, it's not that somebody who has studied public policy only they join in here. Even in our organization only, I think we have had people from the engineering background. One of our colleagues, she was an IIT Delhi pass out, an engineer, a civil engineer. So, but she's there doing great work in our organization, and doing a lot of work in our organization. So I think it's about your interest. I always feel that your educational background, I don't give much weightage to the educational background. It is important, definitely. In academics particularly, it's education background which is looked on. PhD hai, nahi hai, kahan se PhD hai. So all those things, yeah, those things are looked at. But I think it's all about your practical experience on ground. If you're able to articulate what people want on ground, and you're able to package it and give those policy suggestions to the government, that's what you need. Whether you're from engineering, you're from public policy, you're from science background, that would not matter. Your basics, and then obviously maybe you need to put in a bit of hard work in terms of understanding sometimes the economics part of it, sometimes the statistics part of it, which you learn in the journey. I mean, you're not going to be expert on the very first day. So all these things you do learn in your journey. So, but I wouldn't say that you cannot get into public policy if you're an engineer or I mean, your speaker tomorrow, Shah Faisal, he's a doctor himself. So I think all these things don't matter much. It's about your interest, and it's about how you can articulate the needs on the ground, the social needs on the ground. Forget about only these trade policies and everything. There is a social impact on ground. There is a social well-being needed on ground. There are schemes which are running on ground for social sector. We need to education sector, healthcare. I mean, those are also an important sector. We need to understand them also. So if you are from a health background or an education background, that you will be in a better position to understand those needs. You will be in a better position to articulate those needs and come. I mean, sometimes when we are working on any specific subject, we get these experts on board for our projects. So it's a multidisciplinary thing. I mean, because public policy is not only in one field. Public policy you need for everything, whether it is social sector, education sector, trade, economics, MSMEs, industry. You need that for everything, and so you need to be multidisciplinary. So if I'm only going to be an economics and statistician, I would be my field would be very, very limited. So we need to have those multidisciplinary people also in our organization to address to different needs of different sectors.
I have a similar question, which is that there are a lot of youngsters who are inclined towards public policy and they're passionate, they are inclined towards it, they really want to bring the positive change in the society. But somehow they're directionless, right?
Mhm.
As you also said that corporate is paying, let's say, 80 grams, and if a public policy institute is only paying 40 grams. So, they're kind of directionless. They're not able to take that decision in a firm manner. So is there any message for those kids, those youngsters who are really inclined, but at the same time, in two minds? If there could be any message for such kids, sir?
See, I think those who are passionate, they succeed. They will succeed. I'm pretty much sure about that. I'll again take my example within my organization. When people join, when new, especially fresh from college, they join in. We observe them and we see them in which direction they are going, and are they in the right direction? Is this field right for them? And when we see that, yes, and that spark is there. I mean, it is there. I mean, I don't know how to explain that, and I've seen it. I've been doing it for last 10 years. I've seen that spark in people, and I've seen those people succeeding also. And financial part, which is again a very important part. Money is again it follows. It's just that one needs to be patient initially. I mean, if you compare, and let me tell you this also, jitna you would not imagine how much you enjoy public policy and the kick that it gives you when you see, okay, you have suggested something to the government and the policy has been implemented. It beats everything. The kind of confidence booster or the proud feeling that you have, it beats everything. So it has its own plus, but just stick to it. Just be patient with it. Don't get discouraged by seeing your friends in other organization, corporate. They may have those fancy designations and fancy offices, but trust me, this gives you sense of pride. This gives you, I mean, this is an intellect job. This gives you a sense of pride. I mean, I left my corporate job for this. I was making a lot of money. I was doing great, but I left my job for this. And I don't regret. And I know many people who have done this and doing well here, and they don't regret. So it's just about being patient and have some direction, as Akansha and I think Sukanya, they were all talking about this, that you need to have that mentor in the initial phase of your life. Maybe in your college, when you're doing these researches, have that and keep that mentor with you to guide you. It's just about having that guidance and motivation, somebody who motivates you in this. That's what you need. And there are so many opportunities in this field. And I must tell you this also, that we need young people in this field. And it is very important to have young people without any baggage, without any biases. Give your best. I mean, give your suggestions. And we always, I mean, I myself experience it every day in my team. There are college people who have just passed out from college, the kind of ideas that they give, and then there are senior members in the team who guide them. It makes a good combination of experience and youth. We need that in our public policy setup. And because then only we can suggest something to the government, because government also needs our support. And government cannot go to the field every day to understand. So they need it from us, institutes like us. And we need that mix of experience and youth in our public policy to suggest government that what is going to be right. because youth
Did you
has
also have
youth is
any?
without any bias, without any baggage. That's what we want. Sorry, yeah, please.
No, I was just asking the question based on your answer. Did you also had some sort of inhibitions while starting your own venture, coming from the corporate sector? This answer may actually help youngsters to start their own thing, basically, if you could answer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, why not? I mean, to leave a job and then suddenly, and you have worked in corporate for 7 years, and then you suddenly start from zero, because this is not an extension of your corporate job also. This is completely new. And let me tell you again this thing, that nobody gets stuck in life. We don't get stuck in life. You take a decision. If you have taken a decision and you've taken your decision with that confidence that I know, obviously you have to do some planning, definitely. I mean, it's not that today I decide to leave a job and then from tomorrow I will start thinking. No, you have to think and plan for, I mean, what I did was I planned for 6 months. Let me tell you that. Eventually it's the financial needs that we have. I had my 6 months financial needs covered. Then I left my job and I knew I need these 3 to 6 months to be self-sufficient back. So you need to plan, but definitely one thing is sure, if you're confident about your strengths and you're confident about yourself, aap kabhi band nahi hoge. You will always find places for yourself. Koi insaan kisi cheez ke liye band nahi hota hai. If you're good in your field, you will never get stuck. And this is what I tell myself every day, particularly in the last 2 years when there was COVID and there was a lot of pressure on in terms of getting new work, new assignment. I always told myself that we have done good work, we will never get stuck. And we haven't got stuck, touch wood, yet. So it's just having that confidence on yourself. And yes, as I said, have a mentor, keep doing networking. These are the two important things that you need to do. Public policy is all about having network. Keep building your network, keep talking to people, keep taking advice from, karo fir aap wahi jo aapko karna hai, but do keep taking advices from people. Sometimes it is good to take advice from people.
Thank you so much, sir. So networking and patience, these two words will be.
Yes, for young boys and girls in public policy, please have patience and keep doing your networking.
Thank you. So it's basically, sir, 1 hour session, and we had Yash also with us, but unfortunately his internet is not working. So we have a lot of questions from the audience. So let me ask you a few questions.
Please.
So one question is, from your experience, how are public policy startups being received by the state and other established institutions? What has been their response?
As I mentioned earlier also, it is difficult as a new startup public policy institute to get into the government setup, because they have their own protocols to engage with any institute. Government doesn't engage like without any tender process. So what the solution to that is, you do your own pilot paper from your own resource. Ek paper banao. Develop your own paper. For example, if I have to do something for customs, I work a lot with customs and others. So if I'm a new public policy, I'll make a paper on customs, that what are the present challenges, what are the present things from my own, and then give that to them. So that gives them that sense of confidence. Okay, this organization understands the subject. They need confidence. So then they accept you. Then they may engage with you. So, but straight away, if I go to any government department or state department that, okay, I'm so-and-so, I've started my institute, please give me work, I doubt it will happen. So it is about doing something voluntarily, for which you may not get money also, but do it. I have done it and I have succeeded on that. I have done it myself and I've succeeded. So a small article, I remember writing an article many years back on my own and in the newspaper, and because of that newspaper article we got a lot of work with and over time. So all these things, you have to sometimes do things voluntarily. If I may say, cross LOC trade, cross line of control trade, which happens through Jammu and Kashmir, which is a barter trade. Since I belong to Kashmir, so whenever I used to go there, I used to meet those people, talk to those people, understand, make notes, keep writing about it, keep sometimes in a newspaper, kahin na kahin. So I used to keep making notes of it, developing some note on it and keep talking about it. And eventually we started working on it, and it's been now 6, 7 years, 8 years that we have been working on this subject, giving advices to the government, coming out with policy papers, coming out with research papers on this. So this is how, yes, definitely it will be a challenge in the beginning, but then there are certain international institutions who do have certain resources where they are ready to engage with new institutes, new public policy institutes. And that is where these voluntary proactive notes or papers help. A small 2-pager or a 5-pager on any sector, on any industry, that helps. That would help.
Thank you so much, sir. So basically, for people who are freshers out of their college recently, or for people with no experience, they should start it on voluntarily basis at least.
Write a paper. I mean, today with internet and everything, it's not that you don't need that much of financial resources to write a paper. Write a paper on the subject of your interest, and then use that as a stepping stone for yourself. So then you're not blank. You have something with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So basically 1 hour we have for this discussion, and it will never be enough for this, for the answers you provide.
I hope I have been able to add some value to your audiences.
Yes. So there are a few more minutes left and a lot of questions to be answered. So we have one more question. It's regarding the education system. So what change could be made in the education system to help young professionals be better prepared to enter public policy stream?
I think the appetite for research. And when I say research, I have myself done research in college, not that research. The research that we need, so maybe some focused internships which are focused on intensive research. That is what we need to develop, that appetite and patience for research. It's not easy. I have myself, as I said, when I was in college, I've also done research, not that kind of a research. We need to do we need to understand the research, how a research is done, and develop that attitude for research. Research is I think it's more about attitude and having that patience to do research. It's not something which I can teach you. You learn while doing it. I cannot explain it to you in a lecture, in a class. You will learn it only when you experience it. So maybe creating some sort of a curriculum where in the colleges where research is made a very critical part of the whole curriculum. So that's, one needs to do that research. And I said, have those mentorship programs in your universities and colleges where they can engage, where they can have that support of mentors. I mean, different universities already have it. I mean, some of them do have it. And I don't know about Jkpi and whether we have it there or not. But yeah, I think some mentorship program needs to be had where these students, because as I said, with pandemic, the distances have been shortened. So if you're staying in Jkpi, there can definitely be some institute in New Delhi. You can always be as a mentor. They can be your mentor and guide you and teach you. Like we have certain staff now, certain team members who work from home. I mean, as I said, pandemic has reduced the distances also. So that's what those capacities towards research need to be built in our universities.
Yes, exactly. So we have at least 10 questions in a row, but given the time frame, we'll ask just a few, maybe 2 more. So as you mentioned, we need to have patience. Any advice to the organization management to keep the team motivated throughout, and how to build a team from different strengths focused on the goal, focused on one goal? This is a question popping up on Facebook.
How to build an organization. I think your organization, particularly in public policy and research, is built by people. There is, I mean, the only resource that an organization needs, major resource, is your people. So you need to give that space to your people and give your people, the team members, that growth aspects also, that exposure. Ask them to write in newspapers, support them in that. Let them write papers, support them in that. give them opportunities to speak, to talk. And in public policy, I think one thing that is done to the researchers is that you don't have restrictions like this, that you cannot write in a newspaper or you cannot write a paper. So all those things, an organization also needs to have a plan for those people. And I must admit that as new organizations, sometimes it gets difficult also, because you have limited manpower resources, but your work pressure is more. Sometimes you're not able to match the expectations of your team also. But I think that's something which we need to balance out. You need to meet those team goals also and organizational goals also. You need to have individual goals for individual people. Okay, he needs to write 5 papers, she needs to write 1 article. So those things also need to be kept and give them more exposure. I mean, like I said, travel, let them travel for projects, let them go to talk to people, have research experience. And that's how the team builds also.
Very rightly said. So this is the last question I'll be asking to you. So it will be basically about the young people who want to join, especially from Jkpi, who want to join your organization. So how can they reach you?
We have had people from Jkpi in the past also, I must say that, and some really good resources from Jkpi who moved on to do really well in their careers also. So we have opportunities in there is an email ID. Probably you can put it in that chat box also. It's called info@briefindia.com. You can send your profiles there, and we do have requirements regularly. There are always requirements. So that's one thing about new organizations or these smaller organizations, that the requirements keep coming regularly. And yes, so that's it's info@briefindia.com, and most welcome to send your profiles, and we'll definitely try to reach out to you and see where we can fit you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for taking out the time. So I would like to ask my colleague Akil if he's available there.
Yes, I'm here. Sukanya, before I ask a question and present the vote of thanks, Sukanya, do you have any other question? You want to ask any question?
No, there are no questions from my end, but thank you, Mr. Afaq Hussain, for telling us all about public policy. And I hope youngsters take a look at this video and they get inspired. Thank you so much for inspiring us. Over to you, Akil.
Thank you, Sukanya.
So, Mr. Afaq, I have a question. For think tanks and others acting to influence public policy, assessing one's impact, trying to understand if one's policy work is making a difference in a complex and crowded political environment can be challenging. So what do you suggest is the best possible way to assess your policy impact as an organization or as an individual?
See, there are 2 types of works an organization would do. One is where you're being engaged by the government to do a work on a particular policy. There is a structured format for that. You do it, you give your suggestions to the government, and then you see out of that, has government implemented my suggestions? That is one important indicator. Is government implementing my suggestions? Is government agreeing to? Then everything may not be implementing, but at least is the government acknowledging my suggestions? Okay, this is what needs to be done, or this is the problem. Is government acknowledging? So that's one indicator. Then there are certain researches which are independent of government, where government is not giving you resources. You're doing it like we also do. There are certain international institutions which give us resources on doing studies on ports or logistics. So then we come out with those reports, and then you see the acceptability of those reports. As I said previously also, I remember doing one of the researches on ports in India, and shipping ministry was very keen on that report. And I remember seeing that report in a lot of government departments. That report was present in a lot of government departments. So that was an indicator, okay, we have done some good work, I think. Then there was another report of ours that we did in 2019. It was 2020, it was launched early 2020. It was on India-Pakistan trade. And then you saw it was covered by most of the newspapers, national, international, regional. And even after that, when a lot of articles or newspaper things were being written on India-Pakistan trade, that report was being quoted. So that's again an indicator, okay, I think you have done some good work. So if people are recognizing the report, are quoting your work, and so that's another way of assessing your contribution. Then as individuals in our organization, like myself, I am part of different committees in the government on policy making. So that's again an indicator, okay, you as an individual and as an organization are being recognized by a department where your advice or your suggestions are also being taken. So all these are different indicators of assessing the impact of the work that you are doing. So there's no formula to it, but yeah, as an organization, these are the things that we look at when we are evaluating ourselves. Okay, did we do a good job, or how good were we with this project?
Thank you. Thanks for the very simple answer. I had thought it's a very complex question.
It is
for
not.
me.
Unfortunately, as
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said,
Yeah.
Life is so simple.
Yeah.
Life is very simple. It's just that we make it complicated.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I said, public policy bhi bahut simple hai. Go to ground, talk to people, just understand what they want, articulate it in a way it makes sense to the government, and give your suggestions.
Yeah.
There's no rocket science to it.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need to be an engineer or a doctor for that. It's simple, common sense is needed.
Yeah, this is what is needed, that people like you, when people like you talk about public policy, so it becomes easier for us, for the new people who are in this field, who are very new in this field. So it becomes very easy for us to understand public policy, and it encourages me, it encourages my colleagues to do more in public policy. Yes,
I had the same impression 10 years back. मुझे भी लगता था कि पता नहीं ये क्या है. But it's not that. Once you are into it, it's simple.
So we together can bring more awareness on this topic. We are like, it's 8 already. So Yash Agarwal, unfortunately, he was not able to. The last time when he spoke in the meeting, he had informed us that he's traveling. So there had been some emergency. So we understand it. So on behalf of the Jammu Kashmir Policy Institute and on my own behalf, I would like to thank Mr. Afaq Hussain for answering the important questions on public policy. I believe that more discussions are required to bring more awareness to this important topic. And we are looking forward to seeing you very soon with one more session on public policy. That's all for now in the youth forum. More to come tomorrow. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.